It is with a heavy heart that I'm sharing in this video that I am selling my $5 million dream home before I even move in. In this video, we're going to talk about everything that I've learned since pursuing this dream and all the lessons from the loss. So about 3 years ago, this time, it was right around July 4th, my wife and 3 kids were planning an exit from Canada. This is when Canada had lost its mind, the pandemic was out of control, everything was opening up except in Toronto. And we always knew we wanted to leave Canada. We didn't see that as a place we wanted to raise our kids, and it just did not seem to be the place God wanted us to stay, and ventured down to Tennessee to explore potentially a new home. We were drawn to this particular lot, which was just 2 acres of trees. Where we're standing right now, it was just a blank canvas. And in my mind, this was a dream come true. I always had a vision of building something from the ground up. And Flavia and I were on the exact same page. We wanted to exit the country. We wanted to start a new life, enroll the kids into a new Christian community, a place that was very family oriented, had the same values as us. And we did that. We decided to buy this lot and clear the trees and to build something from the ground up. The number one thing that drew me to this place right out of the gate was the view. For me, when I'm in an inspired environment, it breeds creativity. This place just represented a new beginning. It really represented a lot of the similarities to when I started my physical transformation from skinny Vinny to being a fitness model. It reminds me of when I started my online fitness business, and there was just possibility in my mind, opportunity of what could be. And for me, this house, that's what this represented. It was like what could be, and my goal was for this place to become a place to serve people, a place where I would run my events, my mastermind events. And we've done that. We had one here. We've had people come in and we've run small events here. And my vision has always been to have a place where the kids would want all of their friends to come to. This is by far my favorite part of the entire house. It's this backyard. This backyard is so peaceful. It is literally like heaven on earth for me. I wanted to clear out a bunch of trees back here and build a headquarters that went 3 stories high and would look over the roof. I wanted to build a gym back there, have a studio for podcasting, YouTubing, having a boardroom for students to come in, run mini events. That was the vision. I probably attached my identity to this home, which has made it so hard to accept the news that we do need to sell this home. When my wife and I separated in November 2022, I was truly under the belief that we could get to a point of reconciliation. And while she wanted to sell the home, I hung on to this place. I didn't want to sell it. I wanted to hold the vision of us reconciling and coming here together and continuing life as a family here. As you can imagine, my kids absolutely adore this place. We haven't told them yet that we're not coming down here. There's been this just massive overwhelm of losing their trust, because mommy and daddy talked about this for years. So a big part of letting this go has been also having to disappoint my children. And I feel like I worked so freaking hard for this, to give this to them, and I'm sure they're going to be fine. I'm sure they'll adapt. But at the same time, I feel like why? Why do we have to let go of this as well? One of the biggest lessons that I've finally come to accept is that this house has become an idol. I don't want to over-spiritualize this, but at the same time, I've been wrestling with God, almost a crisis of faith. I had to recognize that maybe I've been pursuing my own desires, and I haven't truly been asking the Lord if this was meant to be, if this is meant to be. And the hardest thing for me has been surrendering this. I'm now we're in a point where we have to split stuff up, and we have to get into a place where all the finances are divided in Canada before she would have safety and security to come to another country tied to me. And this has been a massive blow, a massive disappointment. Last summer, we had 18 family members here, and I'm like, this is life. This is what I wanted to always create. And now I feel like it's just being ripped away from me. And it's been extremely hard to believe that there might be something better. You know, life deals you disappointment and suffering, and oftentimes I don't believe that God actually cares about, you know, where you're actually located or what you actually do. But I've been really discovering that this has been a process of Him refining me and wanting me to trust Him more and more. And this has been a process of realizing that I feel like I've never had my character, my faith developed more than anything else in my life. Let's go over here. I want to show you another room that I wanted to spruce up. It just probably doesn't make sense for me to hang on to a place with an insane mortgage, with an insane interest rate, insane amount of just monthly fees and just maintenance, just to keep this place going. It's like $5+ grand a month. The interest rate's like 16 grand. Interest is like 16 grand a month. The mortgage is way over 20 grand a month. And I started to think, how did I even get into this position in the first place? And I realized, like, through the entire process of building this, I was just so attached to the emotional connection of what it represented and how it made me look, that I think I stopped to just pause and actually look at the numbers and to apply some maybe wisdom and maybe even just question, like, are we all in on this? Now this room over here is gonna obviously be the dining room. And you can see there's not much furniture in here, but this view, I just had all these visions of hosting, having people come here, have experiences. And that's what I'm all about, experiences. I just love, and I know an environment, you don't need an environment like this to have experiences and memories and friendships. I get it. You don't have to put that in the comments if you want, but for me, it amplifies everything. And then the last thing I think I want to share, this was the view. This is my favorite part, just this view. We run events up here. This would have been the kids' playroom. There's 3 different bedrooms up here. Kids all have their own bed. There's a beautiful movie room back here. This neighborhood is incredible. So there's a 1-mile loop right around this neighborhood. So each morning, not every morning, I do about 4 to 5 miles. And it's nice and rolling hills. And it's just a great training. About like 5-6 minutes from here, there's a beautiful park with like forests, rolling trails, just gorgeous. There's great people in this neighborhood I'm just starting to meet. So you can imagine I'm sharing all this because, like, I was so sad, I was so disappointed. I just felt like I never experienced, like, I felt like, Lord, just let me keep the dang house. Okay, so my marriage isn't gonna work out, the family unit's broken up. I'm like, at least let me keep the house. You know, recently, the latest news has been that we're not even coming to Tennessee. And the reason is we don't have all of our affairs in order back home, and we don't have that safety and security to come to a new country until we do. So the trip even here is now postponed. The reality is that when you split up and you have young kids, you can't just say, hey, I'm moving on, unless you want to be that dad, and I wouldn't ever do that to my kids. So we have to agree on everything now. So I'm sharing all this because if there's things in your life that are neglected through your marriage, and even if they were unintentional, they have consequences and outcomes. And if people are hurt, like, you can't just sometimes put a Band-Aid on things and patch them all up and just make things better. There's other people involved. And for me, one of the hardest things is like telling our kids that they're not enrolling into this incredible school that they were accepted to. Come on out here. I want to wrap up the video with one more thought. It might not sound emotional in this video, but I mean, I can't tell you how much I've cried over just like the loss. Things are never as bad as you think. Like, I thought like life was over. You know, that's been a huge lesson. I'm already adapting to the reality that, hey, you know, maybe we have to rechart the course for another time. Maybe there's something better that I don't even know about. I've discovered that God wants all of my heart, and He wants all of my faith. And He doesn't want 50%, 70%, 95%. He wants 100%. And I think that, you know, for me, I'm always looking at, like, God, what are you trying to teach me? What am I not seeing here? And I had a Christian brother, you know, sit me down not too long ago. He said, Vince, I think you need to let go of your grip of that house. I think you're holding on to this thing, and God is a very jealous God, and He doesn't want you to have any idols in your life. I'm like, is this really what He's got to teach me this? Why can't He teach me that lesson another way? God is going to continue to pursue you until you let go, and He has your whole heart. And He is a relentless God, and He is a jealous God, and He wants to give you what's even more unimaginable. I think we have such small minds that we think like this is it. but he's got maybe something, I have to believe that he has something so much better. And if you're going through some form of disappointment and loss, I want to encourage you that God will never give you second best. Doesn't mean he's going to give you like something bigger, but he's never going to give you second best. I don't know what that looks or feels like. And I've had to really embrace that truth. My dad said the most pivotal time in your life is when you stop seeking the God you want and start accepting the God who is. I think the last lesson has just been like redefining success. You know, as an entrepreneur, a driven dude, I've defined success like most of us do, like success, you know, money, fame, like progress, ambition, like look what I'm doing. And I think those are beautiful things. God gave us those traits to create and build and use our times, talents, and treasures. Those are from him, but not at the expense of relationship. This has really forced me to redefine success and what is success. And for me, I feel like success now, you know, I built my whole life teaching and selling like financial freedom and time freedom and locational freedom. And really what I realized is like, freedom is none of that. Well, it is, but it's not really true freedom. Freedom is when you have peace and contentment in what is. And this has really forced me to seek out more peace and more contentment from things that are not external. And it doesn't mean you're a bad person if this stuff makes you happy, that's normal. But when you're putting all of your hope and your comfort, if you will, and your confidence in these things, I believe that you're at risk at not experiencing what God really wants to do in your life. I hope this was an encouraging message to you, and that my sadness and suffering is teaching you something. And I know there's a lot more worse things that can happen to you. You know, the kids are healthy, we're all healthy. Like things could be so much more worse, but this was a real major blow. And I realized, no, there's other people out there that are experiencing pain, loss, suffering, confusion, anger, and need hope to try and pivot and reframe all these perceived negatives as where is the positive in this? What's the bigger plan? What's the bigger purpose? So I hope this offered you some encouragement, and wherever you're at in your life, thank you so much for watching. And I'd love to hear your thoughts below. What resonated most with you? We'll see you in the next one.